Welcome to the Regal Eagle Report. I'm Lasia.
I'm Levleen.
And I'm Marsh, and we're your co-hosts.
We're Team 2869, a diverse and inclusive team located at Bethpage High School, New York.
We are aiming for our podcast to be an outlet to interact with other teams and collaborate on varied ideas and thoughts.
We are so excited to introduce our brand new series where we will be interviewing one team from each state.
Embark on our journey as we will be aiming to hit every state, reaching our goal of 50.
For this week's episode, we will be interviewing Project Y from New Mexico.
So please, introduce yourselves as well as your position on the team. I'll start. I'm Arsh, and I'm the captain of the team.
I'm Lasia, and I'm podcast manager.
I'm Levleen, and I'm fundraising manager.
And you guys can go on and introduce yourselves.
I'm Sasha. I'm the current CEO, which is our student lead as Project Y.
Okay. I'm John, and I'm a member of Project Y.
I'm Mintat. I'm the current outreach and business leader.
I'm Lintat. I'm a junior this year, and I'm the mechanical design lead for the team.
The alumni can introduce themselves as well.
I can start. My name is Jason. My last season was 2022, and I was previous team CEO. I'm now at UC Davis.
Hi, I'm Amanda Cottrell. I am also a former CEO. I was the CEO for the last season, and I am currently attending Harvey Mudd College.
Any mentors can introduce themselves as well.
Wait, what?
Go.
I'm Jim. I'm like the scouting mentor. I'm one of the guys who's been with the team since the beginning. As is. Oh.
Hello. Hi. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll start with the questions and then we'll go from there.
Oh, the other person you see in there is Lauren.
Yeah.
Hello. I think I missed the introduction window, but I'm Lauren. I'm an alum from a very long time ago. I was part of the original start of 4153 back in 2012, I think. I went to MIT and now I work in mechanical engineering in Boston.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll get started with the questions now. So first question we have for you guys is, how was your team founded? Like, what was your origin?
So we were founded by Steve and Tiffany Anton. They basically moved here from Virginia when Steve was doing his postdoc. And they had started some teams there, and they thought it was kind of crazy that we didn't have any here. So it basically started with just a few coworkers from the lab and about 5 students.
Mm-hmm. I think our team started the same way as well, right? Like with a small amount of people as well as a lot of people who weren't really into robotics in our area. So more of like a fun question, was there like a story behind your team name? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, so as I said, we're from, as you said, someone said, I don't know, we're from Los Alamos. And a lot of people don't know this, but we're really important. People think that we just, like, we're the test site for the bomb, but that's not actually true. Our town worked on the bomb. We also helped build the bomb, and then it was tested in White Sands, which is a little bit like an hour or two away from us. So our section of the Manhattan Project was called Project Y, and so they decided to name us after that.
Wow, that's so cool.
Right. Another question I'd like to ask is, how many years have you guys been part of FRC?
So we're going to be going on 13. We started, as Lauren said, in 2011. So the first season that they participated in was in 2012.
Gotcha.
Where is your school located? Like, are you guys in a small, like, urban area or like a city?
Can I ask a question? Did they get what they sent them?
Yes, they did.
They just want to play? Wow.
Sorry about that. So we are part of Los Alamos County, which includes our town and then a town that's like right next to us called White Rock. We have a population of about 20,000. It has grown recently. We are very, very small, and the closest big city, I guess, for us is about 100 miles away, which holds about half the whole population of New Mexico. So we are very, very small.
So, do you guys have trouble, like, does this give you trouble, like, finding underclassmen to recruit for your team?
Yes.
So basically we were doing fine up until about last year with like steady trickle, but also we had like a large amount of people who were on before COVID, but then they finally graduated, and now we are having a brick wall in terms of recruiting. And that is currently, I think, our biggest challenge.
Yeah, another noteworthy thing is that we had an FRC team before COVID, right? But like in the years like right after COVID, it was kind of our FTC team kind of just disappeared, right? So the pipeline kind of got messed up. But now that our FTC team's back, and they did really well on their last regional as well. So.
A lot of other ways that I guess people knew about us was from like word of mouth, or we have what's called a science fest, because it's a cute thing that our town puts on, where it just celebrates the science and the history of our town, and we always like going and showcasing our robots there. And like they said, we've had a lot of FLL and FTC teams, but recently, especially after COVID, we lost all of our FLL teams.
So like, are you guys trying any implementations, or do you guys have any initiatives you guys are trying to get more underclassmen to start joining your team?
Well, okay, so sort of. Well, last year we were able to do an open house where like we gave extra credit and a lot of people showed up. But the main issue with that is that like the school this year is not really happy with having extra credit outside of school hours. So like that's also kind of got in a way, because we can't do as strong of an open house as well. Like, you know, no one's showing up for extra credit. So like a lot of our publicity, we're like kind of affiliated with the school, kind of not, and a lot of publicity through that is kind of stunted, right? Because like this Tuesday we're actually going to a basketball game to show off our like t-shirt cannon parade robot as well. So
yeah, adding on to that, go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can go.
Yeah, adding on to that, basically, from what it seems like, after COVID, a lot of students just got lost in terms of direction and looking at for clubs and activities and stuff. And honestly, everybody, as far as I can tell, a lot of teams around the country and pretty much every other club at our school is struggling with that issue.
Yeah, we definitely agree. Like a lot of freshmen in our like a lot of freshmen now, but like a lot of sophomores, they were very hesitant in joining in the beginning. So it was hard to like get them as well. So we wanted to know what your team was thinking as well. So yeah, that was very informative. Yeah. Another question we have, or like coming, like because your school district is so small, how have you guys like gathered sponsors or got funding?
So a lot of our sponsors is we have a lot of, I guess, like the same sponsors each year. So we have ASME, which I believe one of our previous mentors helped us, which is American Society of Mechanical Engineers. We have N3B, which is kind of the big company that kind of helps with lab cleanup at the National Lab. We've also had the Rotary and our local banks help. Also, parents do support a lot. But something really important that we want to note is, while we do have a national lab in our town, they do not provide funding. So we strictly have to go elsewhere.
In addition to those sponsors, like what kind of grants do you guys do to receive more funding for the team?
Yeah, so we've been advocating with the legislature, and recently we got a really, really big win where the state approved, I think it's like $70,000 or $75,000 in terms of for us to expand our capital.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So we have also received some grants from Haas and Boeing to help us pay for registration and also making it to like district champs and stuff like that.
Do you guys have any fundraising initiatives that you started this year or like have been doing throughout the years?
So in previous years, we had done like a pancake breakfast or like a chili cook-off. In more recent years, we did go to a Rotary event where we thanked them and kind of talked about what we do to also expand on what we do. And then also, I mean, we had a GoFundMe for Worlds before NASA gave us our grant. But other than that, we do not do fundraising events.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's like now coming like more about like a robot and mechanical stuff. Like, how do you think your robot has evolved over the years, starting from your beginning days?
Okay, so basically, 2022, it was our first year using Swerve, right? So we use Mark II Swerve drive. We don't use Mark IV, but like basically it was our first year using Swerve, and every year since that, I guess it was only 1 year, but like basically every year since that we've used Swerve, right? So that's one big change in our team, that now we're using Swerve. Another thing is that we also have a bunch of brushless motors, and our technology has gotten better over the years. And our mentor, who's been here since the beginning, also talks a lot about how technology has improved. Like,
You guys.
okay, maybe he's.
That's very much
Jim, you have the blurring turned on. It's currently blurring everything.
right.
If you unblur it, we can see your robot more clearly. Okay.
Relax.
Perfect. Okay. Do you want to maybe explain what he's showing while he's showing it?
Sure.
So the robot that he is currently showing is our last year's robot. We named it Trinity after the Los Alamos test site where the bomb, or not Los Alamos, but the test site where the first bomb was tested.
Yeah. Oh wait.
And then the next thing that he's
That-
showing is what we called Upsilon. That was our 10th robot, and that took us to Worlds the second time, and took us to Einstein's.
Yeah. Another thing about our robots, I mean, you can't see it on Upsilon, but on Trinity there was a lot of LEDs, so that was another change that we made. More LEDs.
So that is how we got some of our Team Spirit Awards, is through our LEDs. Our programmer, his name's Clark, he wasn't able to make it today, would spend a lot of time trying to come up with really cool combinations so that when we were playing with teams who we knew, whether it was against them or with them, he would change up the color of our robot to make it more fun.
And this robot over here is Jaws. This was in 2019, so I wasn't doing FRC, but this was the first time we went to this robot.
This is from the very first
They cannot.
Wait, is the mic not picking that up?
Oh, we can barely hear him.
There we go, you Dad.
You're not missing a lot.
Okay.
Alright.
So I noticed you mentioned how you've like started incorporating like brushless motors and Swerve drive. Our team also last year we started using the Mark IV eyes in our Swerve, and we noticed like it helped a lot. Would you say there's anything else you started incorporating in like either mechanical, electrical, or programming that gave you guys a huge competitive advantage?
I mean,
Yeah, so honestly, the first year that we tried Swerve was the 2022, which took us to Worlds. So that was our first year doing Swerve, and it took us very far. We have upgraded them a little bit. We also, and this is more for some of our older robots, talking about Jaws, which was our 2019, which is our first Worlds. We started incorporating constant force springs, I guess before a lot of other people did, and we just continue to do that for whatever we can with arms. And we have also used pneumatics a lot. Most of our robots do have pneumatics.
yeah, for example, in our 2022, the climber. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I just wanted to point to the robot. Yeah, our climber basically used the constant force spring as well in order to like help it climb. And so like yeah, we've used constant force springs a lot, and also we're using pneumatics a lot. For example, on our 2023 robot, we had this little pincher thing to grab the game piece, and then we use pneumatics in order to close that pincher thing. So
Very cool.
So now, getting back to outreach, is your school district affiliated with any, well, you said that you don't have any FLL teams anymore, but do you guys have any FTC teams in your district?
So what's fun is basically is that we don't have FLL teams, but we do have like 1 or 2 FTC teams.
You guys mentor them.
One team, two numbers. Basically, we just have one large group of students, and since they're so large, we have two team numbers. But how it works, but basically we're sort of affiliated with the school, sort of not. It's complicated.
Yeah, for example, the school gives us the facility we're in right now, right? So, like, the school helps us with some stuff like that, but they don't, like, directly give us money.
Okay. Do you do you mentor them in any way or not really?
I have, like me specifically, I have mentored a little bit. Last year when they were trying to 3D print their like game capsule, I think it's called, with their team number. So I helped them figure out how to print it and also transfer it over into the code that the printer needed from, I forgot what software he was using. But other than that, we do not really mentor them that much.
If I could add something really quick, I think something to note is the fact that they're next door is in literally there's one doorway that separates us. So I think for the past couple of years since we've gotten back from COVID, it's always been an open invitation for the students to, like, if they need any help, they're more than welcome to come into our shop. And as Sasha mentioned, they have done this, like last year they came over a few times. I remember helping them also with like different outreach stuff for themselves, so like creating like flyers and stuff like that. So yeah, I think while we don't like actively seek them out, they are more than welcome to come to us, and we're often in the space together, and they'll often come over and watch us work on stuff.
Like coming back to the FLL teams, are you guys looking to like restart them again or not really?
So we're trying. What we've done is we've gone out to the elementary schools, reached out to parents, and asked them if they'd be interested in starting teams. Again, unfortunately, after COVID, a lot of parents and students are, to be honest, burnt out and don't really have much direction. So we tried to run a workshop to get them to start teams, but I don't think we're gonna have any teams this season. Fingers crossed for next season.
We're gonna try and hold another event, hopefully in April, towards like the end of the school year. Just because when we did go around to the schools, it was a little bit too late. So we're hoping to start earlier to get hopefully some parents and kids interested, and that way they have the summer to get ready for the season.
Yeah, we hold like a program called Engineers Helping Engineers, where we go to the elementary schools and like we show them like some things we do in the high school, and like we kind of amp them up and like kind of encourage them that robotics is really fun, and then show them like other things you can do within. So like yeah, that's a thing idea you guys can try as well.
Yeah, and it really gets them like interested in like wanting to do it on their own and work on the projects like within their own teams.
Right, and in addition to that, we also go down to the schools to show them off our robot and allow students to drive a robot and play the different game elements as part of like our STEM nights in the district, and that also encourages a lot of students to be more interested in robotics, which helps us down the line as it increases members joining in.
Yeah. So
we have definitely. Oh, sorry. We've definitely also done that. Like they were saying, we're going to a basketball game soon. In the past, especially after Worlds, we definitely did go to the middle school because we were trying to restart our middle school team. So that kind of helped get some students into the middle school team, and thankfully they have enough of a foundation right now that they were able to do this season and hopefully next season.
So like more about outreach initiatives, like what are some like you talked about like local initiatives, but can you do you have any international ones you want to talk about?
So I guess in some sense, this goes back to New Mexico is really small. We only have about 2 million people. We are very spread out, and about half of that is all in one city, which, like I said, is about 100 miles away from us. So we believe that it is more important for us to increase STEM within our state because there's such a lack of STEM in our state. Just because it's very difficult to find good mentors, find shops for people to be able to work. Our state is also very poor and our education is not that great. So we're hoping to increase STEM to help boost our education and also give students an opportunity to go into a brighter, like a wide array of fields.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I would like to elaborate on the point. For example, we used like our publicity, I guess, from the World's 2022 to help with like that legislature stuff, try to get things changing in New Mexico. Cause like, yeah, going back to New Mexico, having bad education, like on some metrics we're 51st out of 50, which is not ideal because they count Washington D.C. So like, as a goal as a team, we also want New Mexico to start growing as an FOC region as well. We've started and restarted various teams since 2022 with the help of the New Mexico legislature.
Yeah, and adding on to that, we've spent a lot of time lobbying with the legislature, making sure that they are very supportive of our initiatives, making sure that they can get to our they're willing to support us into the future and trying to get access this public education money in order to help fund teams, make sure pretty much similar model to Texas where the state will cover most of the team's registration expenses. And really can't tell you, it's in the legislative process, so it could be 2 years, it could be 10, who knows.
And with the help of Amanda and Jason, so sort of the summer that was in between their transition, they started the what we like to call New Mexico Robot Alliance in some sense. And so we started a New Mexico Discord server, which we still keep up. We do meetings every other week, just to kind of talk to everyone who's in New Mexico if they have any questions. This was really useful for Gallup gearheads. I do not know their number off the top of my head, but our mentor would join online calls to help them program their robot and just help with anything else that they needed. Amanda posted, it's 4251 is their team number. And we did work with Timberwolves, which is 7540, Manzano, and Enigma, which was before they joined FRC. We held a workshop with them to kind of, I guess, let some school districts know how you can start a team and what it takes. And more recently, me and Mintet went to talk to some people at the National Lab to try and convince them to set up a, I guess, somewhat of a makerspace where we could have a deal with them where teams would send in their CAD models to us and we would try and machine that and send it back to them. So that's a project that we're kind of currently working on. And I'd like to turn this to Amanda because she can tell you more about why, like for us, it's hard to explain, but she truly knows what it feels like to have a team that is struggling in New Mexico.
Yeah, so, oh, sorry, you guys can go ahead.
No, you can.
Okay, I was gonna say is to add a little bit more context to everything. Our state, as Sasha stated, has only 2 million people, and I think another thing is that we're a really huge state. I believe we're the 5th largest state in the US, and so because of that, all of our towns are really small and really spread apart. So from Los Alamos, I think the nearest town is maybe 30 minutes away, the capital is an hour away, and then, you know, further from that, like the biggest city with half our population is about 2 hours away. And I actually came from another city. I moved from Santa Fe to Los Alamos to go to high school in Los Alamos because the high school there is so much better. It's the best public high school that you can attend in New Mexico. And when I was in Santa Fe, which is a very artsy town, we've got more arts there than we have any STEM. We had a team, 7649, that was started in 2019. So we participated in basically 1.5 seasons, simply because of the fact that, you know, COVID shut us down. But yeah, I was on that team, and our first season we were shut down by the school pretty much because they weren't actively providing any support for us. They were hardly giving us a space. We had absolutely zero funding from them. So pretty much everything for the 1.5 seasons that we were alive was coming from parents' pockets if they could afford it. Although I think the important thing to note is that Santa Fe, despite being the capital, has a lot of poverty in it. And so we were working with the local public high schools in order to try and get kids who would usually not be able to be interested in STEM into STEM, which was really important for us because it was never seen before in our city. So unfortunately, because we had no long-term support from anything, despite doing a lot of fundraising to try and get that support, we had to shut down during COVID, and that shut off a lot of opportunities for a lot of different students, for students of color, for women, and for students who are going to be going into the trades. So we're really trying to represent a lot of people who are, I believe, underrepresented in STEM, but we weren't able to do that because New Mexico and the schools did not support us. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, Sasha.
Yeah,
That
that was
helps.
perfect.
Okay.
And to add, what's honestly like the saddest part for me is that her team isn't the only one. Recently, we had another team in Espanola recently, weren't able to continue. Our friend team called the Timberwolves may not be able to continue. Manzano may not be able to continue because they cannot find students or funding. So it's honestly just a problem that's statewide. Also, Astro Vikings, which I don't have the number for right now, is also facing the same problem. So a lot of what we're trying to do is work with New Mexico. We had talked with the old Secretary of Education in New Mexico to try and help create public-private partnerships. And in doing so, we also tried to go to the Roundhouse. They had a STEM event to try and talk to other people about what we do.
Yeah. Sorry. I definitely think that like your goal of trying to get the underrepresented parts of your state to be seen through STEM is definitely something that should be achieved.
This meeting's gonna end in 8 minutes, but we're gonna send you guys a new meeting link.
Actually, we can finish. We'll skip through some of the questions and we'll send you new meeting links to continue.
Okay. So to continue, we know you guys received the Impact Award. So I'd like to ask, what year did you guys receive the award? And also, what initiatives do you think that you implemented helped you the most to receive this award?
So we got Engineering Inspiration in 2022, which was the year that we went to Worlds. So we got that in Amarillo. We also got it at District Champs. And thankfully, NASA paid for us to then go to Worlds off of Engineering Inspiration. And then we got it again in 2023 when we went to Fort Worth. And that also took us to District Champs. So honestly, what I would say how we won it is, again, all the work that we're trying to do to increase STEM and give students who aren't as fortunate as us to live in such a sciencey town an opportunity to go into the trades or to just honestly go into STEM, because it can be very difficult, especially with how poor the state is.
Right.
So, you guys also went to World Championships. Can you share your experience with us if any of you were able to go?
Also, add on your thing.
So Worlds was it was a lot of fun. We got to learn a lot about other teams in terms of mechanical design and in terms of like trying to figure out how they maintain their teams. But also the big thing was we had like an ability to also see like the challenges that FIC teams faced and also how we could work on getting over that. And I think Jason and Amanda are probably the people who can best talk about that. So if you guys have anything to say.
Yeah, I mean, so I've participated, I think I'm the only one who's participated in 2 world competitions. So I went to Worlds my freshman year in 2019, and then we competed again in 2022 at Worlds. 2022, we all did make it all the way to Einstein's. So that was definitely a lot more interesting and exciting. But I think that the main takeaway for me from those experiences, obviously, it was a lot of fun. But the second time that I went to Worlds, I did so with the intent of collecting resources and communicating with teams to build a network that we're now using to help expand the programs that we've been talking to you about like New Mexico STEM, legislation, all the local stuff we're doing. First, in a lot of ways, like that Worlds competition is just a really big conference, and it's great to go, not just from the perspective of like it's a fun competition where you get to see from people from all over. It's a resource hub where you can get ideas, opinions, approaches, and that has directly impacted our team trajectory and what we're doing today.
For my Worlds experience, I was actually the drive coach for the entire season. So I was busy running around the whole time, and I think my main kind of goal of Worlds was pretty much to go as far as we possibly could, and to make as many connections as we could. And I know while we were there, we had a lot of our teams from New Mexico supporting us, which was really nice, to kind of have that backing and to feel like we were truly representing New Mexico, because previously, like, we've made it to Worlds a couple of times, but other than that, I think the main teams that have been making it to Worlds from New Mexico are actually some of our FLL teams from like Albuquerque. So, you know, to be there, to be able to say, yes, we are New Mexico and we're proud, was really fantastic. And then also just talking to a lot of these bigger teams and learning kind of what they do for outreach, what they do for strategy and stuff like that was just really fascinating. And I'm glad to have had the experience.
Mm-hmm. Like, we definitely agree with all your points as well. I went twice personally.
Yeah, I also. We all went twice.
Yeah, so it was an experience where if you could meet other people, network, and like do almost the same things you guys did. So it was a great experience as well.
Right, and learning from like all the world-class teams was definitely like a huge inspiration to not only like pursue our success further, but like also things we could implement in our team that they have already been doing and been successful in doing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so also to add, I also went to Worlds. I was the lead strategist, so I was working with Amanda and other teams to kind of figure out our strategy, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was super fun. But as everyone's been saying, we somewhat took, I guess, the fame that we got from going to Worlds and placing fourth was that we used it to reach out to our representatives, our Los Alamos representatives and senators. So we had reached out to our Los Alamos senator, Senator Jaramillo, and he actually was able to come down and we talked to him about what we do and kind of what our plan is so that we could start to build a relationship with our legislators who could possibly help, you know, expand to other counties and other teams to try and support all of the teams in New Mexico. I mean, that is honestly our goal, is to try and help support all of our teams.
That's amazing. Like for us last year, our superintendent and high school principal came down to Houston to watch us play, and they supported us to kind of see like how much we accomplished and really like expanded to the rest of the districts, and we definitely relied on that.
It's definitely great seeing them there, like seeing our school supporting us, and like we have that support to kind of like lean on, and they like what we're doing. So
definitely. So something more like a personal question, even if you can answer, like what sparked robotics, like interest in robotics for you guys personally?
I guess I can start. My mom kind of pushed me into it. So I somewhat started in elementary school. I had a teacher and she was talking about how, you know, there's this crazy thing that, you know, we have a robot on Mars, and I honestly hadn't heard anything about it, which is kind of strange because we live in such a sciencey town. And from there, my mom just kind of helped push me into different programs, and then I eventually fell into FTC, and then I moved on to FRC.
Yeah, so I first joined because I was interested in like the programming part, but as I got into it, I also got really interested in kind of how to like design something and actually implement it the purpose for the game, and I also had a really good experience with like going to competition and seeing like how everyone's helping each other out.
Yeah. So I started in 7th grade with FTC, and then like in 8th and 9th, COVID, whatever, right? So like actually in 9th I did come back, but like it's again that COVID inertia. So my brother actually roped me back into FRC, and then I don't know. One of the parts I've always enjoyed was just competing and meeting new people and learning about other people's robots. So that's stuff I had a lot of fun at World, and that's why I also keep doing FRC. Also to just like build a robot, like that's cool, build a robot. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, similar story with Sasha. I kind of just got into this because my teachers and my friends did that at first. And basically from there, I worked on the middle school team, and then came up to the high school team. Then just stuck with it until, yeah, now.
Even the alumni can speak on this as well.
So I had been doing robotics for a long time. My dad got me in with the Mindstorm, Lego Mindstorm kit, and I've been doing robotics basically ever since. After doing FRC, I've actually now at UC Davis. I've founded with a good friend of mine who's also FRC alumni, Robotics Submarine Club here at UC Davis. And it's just been an ongoing thing for me in my life.
Yeah, for me, my mom actually also gently encouraged me to do it when I was younger. So I believe I started in like 2nd grade or something with the Mindstorms. And you know, being the only girl there was a little bit tough, and like a group of like 20 other like boys. And so I joined FLL team. I started a new FLL team, all female, and then like I said, I moved up into FRC, and then I moved to 4153, and currently I am attending Harvey Mudd on a first scholarship, so it's always kind of going to be sticking with me, and I'm going to be doing engineering here, of course.
That's great. Yeah.
And then I have another question for like the alumni specifically. How would you say like first robotics, like going through robotics affected like your opinion of STEM and like your want to pursue it not only in college but like as a career later on?
Well, speaking for myself, I will say that FRC has provided me with a lot of skills and experiences that have put me ahead of my peers in a lot of ways. I'm able to, I have a lot more resources, a lot more knowledge when it comes to approaching problem solving in classes, and it makes some aspects of college a lot more fun and less stressful, because often you're going to face a situation where you're given something, it's not really explained how you do it, and I have to rely on my previous experiences and knowledge to help fill in those gaps. And it's like FRC has provided me with not just those knowledge bases, but like leadership skills and community experiences that have formed the way that I interact with people on a day-to-day basis today.
For me, I think it's really provided like a good foundation for a lot of different things. As Jason kind of mentioned, I've picked up a lot more leadership skills, and I think I've also picked up a lot more skills on working with people that I might not know and that might be from a different country than I am. But you know, we can still get along, understand each other, and find some common ground. I think also it's kind of helped me sort of decide what I want to do with my career, my degree, etc. Because you know, it's tracked me into a good college through the scholarship itself, and I think First and my college both have kind of similar ideals where it's like, you know, you're going to be conscious of what you're working on, and you're going to be conscious of how it's going to affect those around you, and I think that's something really important to keep in mind in STEM especially.
I definitely agree. So
Yeah, and I think For me, what this just sort of helped with is now that I'm a little further into my career, um, I think it's really helped to be able to sort of be able to like switch very easily. I'm sure you guys are aware of the build times being short and whatever, and I think it's just helped me be able to sort of pick things up quickly, which has definitely been a valuable skill.
Yeah, definitely. So to end things off, kind of like an open floor kind of thing, do you guys have any questions for us as a team?
So I guess we were wondering, what do you guys do for outreach? Because I believe you guys have some international stuff you do.
Yeah, so internationally, we interviewed a team from the Dominican Republic, I think it was.
Yeah.
The Steampunks last year on this podcast. So that was one thing we did for international outreach. We basically asked them how it was, like their FRC experience from like a different,
and especially because they were a third world country, we wanted to know how they funded their teams in a different country. And also that also helped us because they came to one of the regionals in our area. So it helped them interact and network with us as they kept like their robot in our lab because they needed a space for it, and we brought like materials to them. So it helped us connect on like a different level, which was really like interesting.
And we also sent over STEM kits. So we worked with Explore, what was it called? Explore Africa?
Yeah.
Explore Africa, and we sent them bristlebot kits. And we also had some of our team members travel internationally over the summer, so they also brought STEM kits to their area. So we sent STEM kits over to Sri Lanka and the Philippines and India. And basically what we had our team members do was bring the STEM kits to their local schools in their communities and explain to them what FRC was, what our team did, and do like a little fun activity with them.
Mm-hmm. And they were like very basic, like minimal, like not much like effort was needed, and it was very minimal cost. So we made sure to incorporate both of those to make sure they were efficient.
And even another thing I'd say that we started this year was we released a mini grant for teams to apply to, and this is not only for teams like within our region in New York and around the country, but also internationally. And as a part of this, we offered to buy teams like resources that they need, especially for underprivileged teams that may not have like the financial backing from different school districts and governments. So that's also another thing we started for international teams to help support them in their like journey in not only FRC but also FTC and FLL teams.
Mm-hmm. And like to get the money for those grants, we held like car washes within our school over the summer to raise enough money. So like I think that was like one of our good fundraiser events as well.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So my question is like, what is the relationship between like teams in like your state and district with like say the school district or the state? Because like for us, we don't have those relationships where the state, if they want to give us money, it has to go through a legislative process, and the school district supports us in pretty much giving us a building and handling and doing our accounting. But that's about it. So how does it work for your team, and how did you guys build those relationships if they are struggling with ours?
Right. So from our school district, we receive like a certain amount of funding each year, and this includes not like especially funding to go to competitions, like the entrance costs and like transportation as well, because that gets very costly for us to do during the season. And that's like some of the main costs that we don't individually fundraise. But for other stuff like robot parts or whether we need to purchase new things for our lab, that would all be like fundraised by our team, as our school's budget mostly covers only the regionals and that sort.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Can I ask what competitions you go to? Like, how far away are they?
So we have some couple competitions throughout New York. So the one we attend the most is the first Long Island competition, which is held nearby us in a college. And in addition to that, last year we also went to the New York City regional, which was really fun. It was held like obviously it was in the city, and there was a lot of different teams there from around the world as well competing. So those two main regionals.
Yeah. So like we're in Bethpage, which is in Long Island. So the city's like 45 minutes away from us, and then the college Hofstra University that's like 20 minutes away. 25.
Yeah, so we have like a lot of
Yeah, everything's
closer.
very interconnected with
Yeah.
us. There's many teams around us. I think it's very different from where your team is located.
Yeah, that's very nice. I think we almost got an event in Las Cruces this year, but
yeah,
it didn't work.
both of our events are in Texas, right? One's in Amarillo, one's in Fort Worth. Those are district regionals, right? So like, and after that we had to go all the way to Houston for district champs. So like, those are like, and yeah, and earlier before New Mexico became part of First in Texas, we had to travel to like, I think it was like Colorado and basically Utah. So like, we did not have any regionals in New Mexico. So ours is like 4 hours, 6 hour drives, right? Was
15
Yeah.
sometimes. Fort Worth was 15.
Yeah. So
And also, this is actually, it was kind of exciting in the moment. When I did FTC with Mintet and Lintet, I believe when I had joined, FTC had just become its own state for as their own, so they could actually compete within their own state instead of having to do what we did, where I believe they used to have to travel to like Arizona. I remember having to travel to Tucson, which was also pretty far from where we live. So that's really nice that they were able to do that for FTC, and we were just honestly hoping to do the same here.
I think like in New York itself, like a lot of FRC teams are located like very close to us. That like recently we had like roundtables, which is like a conference we had with how many teams? Like five, six teams. Yeah, like 6 teams around us, and they lived relatively close. And we all like talked about different initiatives we started in the past year or so. So yeah, it's very different. But like, it's really cool to see that you guys like still dedicate your time to like start FRC and like spread STEM around.
Like, since we have such a good, like, we're very grateful to have such a big community around Long Island. So like, seeing how much you guys put into like your outreach efforts is like very inspiring.
Definitely. Any other questions?
I guess, so I think you've gone to Worlds like 6 times, was that what it was? What have most of those been from?
The past 2 years have been from Engineering Inspiration, and last year, the 2022 Worlds, we won EI, and we also qualified from winning a regional. And the 2 years before that, we won Chairman's. So it's basic and what?
Yeah, it was Chairman's, and even before that, we've won one other regional before that, and I believe it was also Chairman's. And like our team, we're very like, one of our greatest achievements, I would say, is like the current like our world streak. We're at we've qualified for the past 7 years as our current streak, and that's something we're very proud of as part of our team. And that's been mostly through Chairman and EI, as we mentioned, and also
to keep it up. To keep it going.
Because we have a very strong like outreach and marketing team, as well as people who work in electrical, mechanical.
That's very cool.
Anyone can ask.
Yeah.
I guess, how do you guys do like your prototyping? Do you use CAD? Because I know for us, especially like we said with how hard it is to find resources for us, we do a lot of our prototyping in CAD, which was really useful last year because we would have chopped off a motor, which would not have been good. So I guess, what do you guys do for prototyping?
So like as soon as like kickoff releases, for a lot of prototyping we make some rapid things out of like wood parts even, because that's very easy to use quickly. But in addition to that, we do have CAD. We do use CAD to make our entire robot. And last year, we actually received a new CNC machine, which has been really helpful in prototyping, cutting like not only Lexan but also aluminum, which has helped us in building any sorts of mechanisms we want to prototype quickly. And it was really helpful throughout build season, as it lets us know what will work, what won't work, and what we should continue to work on. So yeah, those sort of machines. And in addition to that, we've also expanded like our CAD, as this year we've started using a new software called Onshape, like completely web-based. So that's also been really useful in having our team collaborate on our CAD together.
Okay.
That's very cool.
This is more just a personal question, but which game is your favorite, like out of the past few years?
I liked Rapid React.
Same.
Yeah, I'd have to say Rapid React. It was very exciting watching all the teams try to score as fast as possible.
The human player aspect too.
Yeah, and the human player was very fun. So yeah.
It was much more intense.
What about you guys?
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I thought it was also really fun Rapid React because of the monkey bars. Through Worlds, we were actually able to meet the Canadian team. I also do not remember.
Thunderstamps.
Yeah,
Right,
Thunderstamps.
97, yeah.
And they like would reload and then jump up all the way to the top bar instead of climbing all the way up, and that was really cool. It was also really fun because we completely redesigned our climber, and that's honestly what got us to the spot that we did. Ranking 4th was just our really good climber and our really good driver who was really skilled at doing defense.
Yeah. No, I like Rapid React too. 2023 just felt a little too passive for me, but that's cool.
Any other questions? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming on, and wish you the best of luck for your build season upcoming. Yeah, it was so nice talking to you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for inviting us. This was a lot of fun.